Welcome to Healing is Hilarious. I'm your host, Rachel LaForce. This is a podcast where personal development meets punchlines. Each week, I'm offering you my own lived experience in diving into topics like self-empowerment, authentic living, and learning how to listen to your inner knowing. Because after all, healing doesn't have to be heavy. It's hilarious. Welcome back to Healing is Hilarious. It's me, Rachel LaForce. What's hilarious is we just got back from vacation, and if you're watching this live, I forgot to put my plant back on that plant stand. That's sad. Okay, ADD, squirrel. How are you guys? I'd always feel so rude. She just jumps in, starts talking at you, You've had a week, and if your week has been anything like mine, boy, have you had a week. My heart goes out to you. Everyone is safe and healthy. That's the bottom line, right? That's the number one thing I remind myself when things are emotionally, spiritually, financially, anything that is remotely destabilizing in like the life. I'm just like, we're safe and we're healthy. Because ultimately, those are the most important, right? Those are the most important. You know what else is important? Accepting that anything that you want to do, that you're doing for the first time, is going to be messy. You're right. That shit's going to be fucked up. Okay. And this message, such as all of them, is also for me. A little bit for me, a little bit for you. Okay. I know, especially if you're here, whether you're an OG or you're new, you are here because this is a space that helps guide you to the next place, right? Which, like, what an honor. Thank you so much for being here. And I have so many spaces of my own that are like this, that I go and I drop in and hear guidance of what other people are moving through these same things. And that's really what I love so much about our collective experience, right? And collective energy is truly, we are never alone. Even though the specifics sometimes feel so sticky and specific to us, right? It's one of that, like, nobody would understand. It's comical how much people would understand. You know what I mean? And sometimes there's this a little bit of like indignance because we want it to be hard, right? Other people don't understand. And it's like, well, maybe it's good you think that, because if you knew how many other people have seen this day that you're experiencing and made it through, you'd maybe just go to Chili's, get the queso, and call it a day. Hashtag not sponsored. I don't want Chili's to come for me. But I'll slang a code for Chili's. You know what I mean? I'm not above it. So we're in this liminal space, and we're building on last week's episode, which really was very raw and real of where I really am. And also, I think so many of us are on a collective level. We're there, right? Politically, socially, we're seeing all of these systems that are almost outrageously revealing themselves to us. Like they're not even trying to be like cute about it. They're just like, look at all this corruption and famine and starvation and shit we don't care about. And it's very difficult. So we are in this place, and that's being represented to us on a personal level. These things that we have ignored, or we have put up with, or we've accepted, or that's just a part of my personality. These things that have almost seemed immovable, right? In the same way, at a collective level, we're like, well, these systems are so much bigger. These people are so powerful. There's nothing we can do, Rachel. And so before we tackle the weight of the world, let's focus on ourselves, right? Let's focus on our personal power. And my guess, educated guess, intuitive guess, she can read your soul, is you're probably like me, where you have been, even if you are aware of these things, but right, we don't change something until it gets in our way, right? Like, we will carry an insane amount of shit like it's totally normal. I've said that before in the podcast. It was like, if you had to carry around the things that are getting in your way, like dead bodies, you'd drop that shit tomorrow. If you could imagine like going to a networking event and having to carry like 6 dead bodies, or like 6 skeletons. If you had to travel with 6 suitcases everywhere you went, I guarantee you those things that you call a personality, right? Or that's just me. That's what I do. You wouldn't do that shit at all anymore. And that's what living free is. Living free is really the ability to let go of those things. And we're in this place that, where we're going, I'm so sorry I'm going to say this out loud, is the next frontier. Okay? I didn't want to say it, but it was the only thing that came through. It is the next frontier. And we haven't been there before. And we don't know what it looks like. And we are so good at protecting ourselves. Oh my God. Girly pop. Are we so good at protecting ourselves? And even if that's not good protection, it's keeping ourselves small. It's making the same mistakes over and over again so that we don't have to make new choices. So we don't have to do something new. And we're in this place now where like even those routines, they don't work anymore. And that is a scary place to be. But it's beautiful because it's only scary because it feels messy. I know for a fact if I asked you right now, like, you know exactly what it looks like. You know how long you've been aware of that it's the next thing. You know how much you've been calling it in. You've made the vision boards, all the things, right? But now that you're being called to do the human part of it, which is take action, you're terrified. And I know, and this is not another like, do it scared, girl, but do it scared. Like, not shitting on all that, but like, what does that mean? Like, I almost loathe hearing that. It's always the message for me, but it's like, but what does that mean? Because when we're scared, we often feel paralyzed, which means it's hard for us to move forward. We're not always as loud as we need to be. So what does that mean? And for me, it boils down to one thing. You have to allow it to be messy. You're probably a recovering people person, or I'm type A, or if I can just control, then it'll be okay. And bitch, I haven't seen a single person who's walking around control. That's okay. Like, I think that's the greatest demystifier for me, and being in this new place where I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to do this messy as shit. I'm going to hurt people's feelings. I'm going to look like a motherfucking fool out in these streets. Okay? This is not going to be clean. Revolution is not, rebellion is not, and certainly when you're choosing to do it for yourself, this shit is not going to be clean, it's not going to be cute, and it's not a CW show, okay? It's just not how it's going to go. And I think one of the things that we have to do is we have to be willing. This is when that self-trust comes in. We can be scared, but above that is truth. And we know the only reason that we're here is that this is our truth, and there's nowhere to hide any longer. It is inevitable, and it is impossible for us to go anywhere but forward. It's just here. It's like being on the roller coaster and you're like, wouldn't it be so fun if we sat in the front of the roller coaster? Gosh, that would be so much fun. This is so fun. We're sitting in the front of the roller coaster. Isn't this fun? I bet our picture's going to be really fun. And then you get right there to the top and you're like, why the motherfucker did we choose to be at the front of the roller coaster? Like, there is no turning back now. And probably a lot of the lessons that you're going to learn through it being messy are the actual lessons that you need to learn. Because you getting the house, cute. You finding the spouse, did not mean for those to rhyme, cute, okay? You getting the job, you starting the business, you leaving corporate, you coming out, you getting fame, you going viral, whatever these things are that you have decided that once you have blank. And like, how many times do we have to learn this lesson? God, does it suck? Because ultimately, we're all just going, right, but I just want the thing that's going to make all of the uncomfortability go away. I want the thing that's going to make me feel like I'm good enough. I want the thing that everybody else is going to know I'm untouchable. And that thing doesn't exist. Like, it doesn't exist. And we know that even from the amount of people that have achieved whatever it is that we think that we want to achieve or we want to receive or we want to have. And how many of those stories and anecdotes do we have to hear from those people where they're like, oh, no, that changed nothing for me. In fact, it gave me more problems that I didn't know that I was going to have to endure, right? Like, that's where it's like, oh, you want to be a homeowner? Okay. Also, how much extra cash do you have lying around for when, like, you got to blow off the roof? You've got to get this landscaped. Your sink stops working. This, window blows out. You, like, whatever it is that you think it's going to look like, it's not. And this isn't a call for like, but it's about, like Miley Cyrus, it's the climb. You guys, not only do I love Miley, but I love that song. This is deeper than that, girl. It is. It's not only accept the truth and surrender to the fact that those feelings that you want are never going to come from that thing. The only thing they're going to come through is through you and your daily practice of setting aside 2 to 3 minutes once a day to be like, I feel safe in my body. I am able to provide all of the things that I need. I am able to be safe while I also feel like I'm throwing myself off a skyscraper, okay? I am able to sit in heartbreak and I will be okay. I am okay to invest this money. I am okay to lose this money. Whatever it is. Because that's the only truth. Everything else is fleeting. Nothing else is real or stable. And that is terrifying for my brain, okay? My nervous system does not like that information. But that's where, how can you remain sane on a moving train? That's the actual Jedi mind trick. That's the wax on, wax off. Can you get to a place where you trust yourself explicitly? Because that's where that freedom comes from. Like, I've realized now, I'm not actually so interested in teaching anybody anything. I'm just interested in getting other people to live free. Like, that's all the work that we're doing here. Because even the little bit I've been able to achieve it, and now it calls to me more and more of like, what would it feel like to feel more and more like myself? To feel more and more safety. Just to feel safe. I'm safe to hurt that person's feelings. Not that I did it on purpose, but I can't avoid, you can't avoid mess. When you're truly living, you can't do it. I have the visual representation of, living with 2 beautiful raccoons known as Jonah and Theodore, my 2 children, who are 2 and 4. I will make my house, my husband makes fun of me all the time. He's like, we don't live in an anthropology magazine, and I don't know why you think that we can try. I'm like, well, a girl can try. All right, leave me alone. Clean my house 2 seconds later. There's shit out of cabinets I don't even know we own. The idea that I'm going to live well and live fully, and my house is not going to be a mess if I'm living fully. I have 2 toddlers. We have family over. We're moving. We work from home. Your house is going to get messy. And it doesn't mean that I've done something wrong or that I could have done it better or if only. Those things aren't real. The reality is that's just the cause and effect. And we've been taught that it's not beautiful. We've been taught that messy is bad. We have been taught, whether directly through society or, God forbid, through your family, through your mother, but we've also learned it ancestrally, especially as women. We have been persecuted for being smart and beautiful. We have been persecuted for having bright and smart ideas. Friends, we literally create life with our bodies without thinking about it. What? And there's people out here being like, oh, I don't know if I should start that business. Bitch! Start the business. Like the amount of things that you are capable of, but it's because we bought into this bunk ass lie that frankly is not even impressive, okay? If you're going to try to repress me, at least put on some airs, you know what I mean? Try to hype yourself up. Just being like, you're better small. You're better smaller. They didn't even fucking try. You know what I mean? We're not doing that anymore. I am as big and as expansive as I want to be. I am completely safe to be exactly as I am, and I'm completely safe to make mistakes. And I'm not talking about you run around out there hungover acting like an asshole. That's not what I'm talking about, okay? Mind your side of the street, okay? Mind your business. Don't go out there being like, well, Rachel said, take my name out your mouth, okay? But when you were living in integrity, and that's the other thing, I think for us that are those empaths, that we are so susceptible to other people's feelings, especially when we're acting in our own integrity and we still hurt people's feelings or they still walk away with a version of us that we're not comfortable with. That is so hard for us. But I come back to going, yeah, that really sucks. But to have a gift of intuitive wisdom, to have a gift of knowing how to care for people, to have these gifts that we share, that's just the other part of it. There's not a single thing that exists in the universe that is only one thing. It doesn't exist. Maybe for Loco, but even RIP to that. You know what I mean? Everything is more than one thing. It's just the way that it is. So our job, we started this with the reinvention series, and in this liminal space, that's really the work of building this sense of self-trust, because then that way you're clear to go with anything. And the other thing that it does is it's going to create more and a stronger sense of assertiveness. To assert ourselves, whether that's in situations, in relationships, in otherwise. Because what happens is, especially when we're very emotional, let me rephrase that. When we are attuned to deep emotion, we often take it on more and longer because we know how it's going to affect somebody else. And that's a beautiful thing. That's such a beautiful thing. But it's not helpful. Like, it doesn't even help them, because you're still going to rip that Band-Aid and you're still going to have to feel whatever the cause and effect is. So in fact, and so many of us were not taught to be assertive. Why? Because being assertive is powerful. Being assertive is asserting yourself, literally. And so we haven't learned that skill. And so we think it's either like pushover or like bad bitch. Like there's 75 colors in between those two things, okay? And I'm not even saying that one or the other, like you do you know, I'm just here to share my own experience. But I think the smartest thing that we can do right now is anchor into the sense of self-safety so that we can move forward with where we need to be, being okay with the mess, because it's gonna come. You cannot avoid it. You're going to hit reply all. You're not going to say the right thing. You're going to get the opportunity and walk away and go, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. I can't believe I said that to that person. That was the thing I said. Like, I had all that time to prepare. And like, that's the thing I said. Yeah, you're probably going to say some dumb shit. Okay. Especially if you're excited or you're nervous or you haven't been there before. And all this of like, fake it till you make it. It's like, no, just learn to trust yourself and then you can go wherever you want. Like I was talking about, I have a fairly big opportunity coming up. And it's fairly big. It's a pretty fucking big thing. And I have no stake in the game because it's never a thing I've dreamt about, thought about, nothing. And so I was like, wow, what a sense of freedom. Because I'm like, I have no problem going in there and pitching them ketchup popsicle. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, if I offend them or they're like, she's so off base, why would she think it's okay to say that to us? And I'm like, because I'm not saying it to be mean. I'm saying it because if I'm the right person for the job, this is my point of view anyway. And either way, when I leave here, I'm going to go pick up 2 adorable children that rely on me for their sense of safety and all 3 meals a day. Okay. And I'm going to go home to a house that I wish was slightly bigger, a little bit cleaner. And, you know, that's going to be that. All right. So when we can get to that place of sense of self-safety, that's that sense of freedom. Safety doesn't mean that we, you know, like hoard ourselves off from other people or other experiences. It's a sense of freedom, and it's not going to come from anywhere else. It's not going to come from the house. It's not going to come from the spouse. It's not going to come from the mouse in pajamas down by the bay or whatever that song is. It's literally going to come from you learning to trust yourself, because the more you trust yourself, you're going to find that simplicity is what moves the ball forward. Everything that you thought that you needed to get to the place, you're going to realize how embarrassing. Literally all I needed was myself. Every poster I've seen in every doctor's office of like, what's popular isn't always right, and what's right isn't always popular, you know, like any of those, like, just be yourself, you know, and it's like a dog with colored spots next to dogs with just black spots. Like, you're going to go, oh, holy shit, there was like some real wisdom in those posters. And that's the truth. So for the next, let's just try this week. And I'll check in with you next week. Let's just try just this week, 2 to 3 minutes a day, checking in with your body. What would it be like to move through the rest of my day, trusting myself that things can be messy, I can say the wrong thing, or who knows, I might surprise myself and knock it out of the park. But no matter what happens, as we enter this new frontier, sorry, not for the I'm sorry for saying that again. You know, as we enter it, that you can go into it 10 toes down and just enjoy yourself. Like, can you just, all of this is, I just want you to get to a place where you're having a little bit of fucking fun, bro. Like we've already done the hard shit. We've already healed from the really hard things. Don't let these things be hard too. All right? I'm here for you. I'm in your corner. I love you more than you know. Tune out, tune in. Love you, mean it. Well, I don't know about you, but I sure as hell feel better. Thank you so much for tuning in to Healing is Hilarious. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your support helps me reach more listeners on their healing journeys. Ready to dive deeper? Check out my TEDx talk on YouTube. Just search Rachel LaForce TEDx for more insights and laughs. Until next time, tune out, tune in. Love you, mean it.